Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Monster Hunter World. Today we're going to be covering two of the new Lunastra weapons, and I do plan on covering a lot more of these in the future, so do feel free to leave comments down below as well as vote in the polls on the top right corner for which Lunastra weapons you would like to see made in the next episode. But in this episode, we are going to be covering the dual blades and Gunlance. Now for the dual blades, I did craft the Empress Daggers Ruin, which is the Nergigante variant of the Lunastra weapons, and the hasten recovery is really good on the dual blades, and this does have a raw damage of 266, and the natural white sharpness does make these pretty darn good. Although none of the Lunastra weapons are going to be top tier damage, they do have some additional skills which make them pretty fun to use, as well as the additional gem slots, and while Blast may not be as prevalent as it has been in past games, it is still pretty fun to use. It is unfortunate that the Lunastra weapons are just reskins of the metal ore tree, but I do really like the way the dual blades look with that blue hue on the metal and the Nergigante stuff mixed into it. I do like the look of it quite a bit. As I mentioned, none of the Lunastra weapons will really be top tier damage, but they are still quite good. Now with these dual blades, the hasten recovery does proc quite often, and you're still getting quite a bit of damage out of these as well. It's not the strongest dual blades build I've ever made, especially because I am using a full armor set, which I'll be showcasing in another video with a couple other weapons as well. But all in all, the damage on these are really good, and with the hasten recovery, you're having that bonus effect of really never having to heal unless you're taking a lot of damage. For those interested in augmenting their Lunastra daggers, we can give you a little bit of a showcase of what the damage will look like here. So if you do decide to increase the attack, you can get up to 273. Now I am a little bit of a glutton for affinity, but with these particular dual blades, I would probably put health regen on here, socket some medicine jewels, have both health regen and haste and recovery, and you're pretty much just never gonna have to heal yourself ever again. For those of you curious about the health regen augmentation, I have actually showcased it on pretty much every weapon in Monster Hunter World, so feel free to check those videos out if you are curious. I highly recommend it as an augmentation because not having to worry about healing yourself can really be advantageous and keep your damage upkeep on the monster significantly higher than without it. Now next up, we've got the Gunlance. I absolutely love this weapon, and unfortunately I don't use it nearly as much as I should, but once I saw the Lunastra Nergigante version of the Gunlance, I had to have it. This thing comes with 460 raw damage, the white level of sharpness. Fortunately, there is no affinity on any of the Nergigante tree versions of the Lunastra weapons, has 150 blast, only one 2-slot gem slot, which is still pretty darn good, and obviously haste and recovery with a shelling type wide and level 3. Unfortunately, none of these do have the level 4 wide shelling type, which would have been nice, but all in all, they are really good gun lances. You can't really go wrong with any of them. The razor sharp version of this would also be really good because the Gunlance does lose sharpness incredibly fast, but I am socketing this with protective polish to kind of help out with that, but obviously the razor sharp would really help as well. The Devil Joe Gunlance will still drastically outdamage this particular Gunlance with peak damage, but not having to have that negative 30% affinity is a really big benefit on this particular weapon, and especially with the hasten recovery. If you augment health regen on here or attack, specifically health regen, you're really never going to die, and you can also increase attack on here if you so desire to really try and rival the damage of the Devil Joe one. Now, not only is this a top tier damage Gunlance, it also looks freaking amazing. I know it still is a metal ore reskin, but the addition of the Nergigante bits onto it with the blue hue of the metal just looks really freaking good, and I'm in love with it. This is probably my favorite Gunlance in the game right now. The Lunastra Gunlance is definitely top tier damage, and I highly recommend getting it if you are a fan of the Gunlance, and I am using this with a full armor set, so it isn't even min-maxed, and we're doing just a shitload of damage with this particular weapon. I highly recommend getting it. Now, if you are looking to augment the Empress Howl Ruin, you can get this up to 472 raw damage, although I'm going to actually be putting health regen on here once I get another Nergigante gem after crafting all of the weapons that you guys want to see, because I really want to make just an invulnerable, just unkillable Gunlance build. So I'm going to be doing that in the near future. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to share your support and smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have an opinion on what weapons you would like to see created from the Lunastra trees in the future, feel free to leave your comments down below with your recommendations, as well as there is a poll on the top right corner so you can vote for what you want to see next. Now, if you guys want to make sure to stay tuned for future episodes, make sure to hit that bell icon so you can get notified when we go live and when we post new videos. But I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!